This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Thursday the 31st of March 2022. This is episode 204 and we are here with full coverage and analysis of the big New Japan event that everyone's talking about, and that is of course the 8-hour broadcast of Sleepy Hiromu Takahashi sleeping in Korakuen Hall. Damon, take it away.
Yeah.
Let's have a full breakdown hour by hour.
I mean, I don't think I would allow any human being to record me when I sleep. I think that would be like the most. I don't think you can get more self-conscious. Like, I would never be able to fall asleep. Could you do it? Could you, knowing people were recording you?
I'm just, out of all the things, incredible achievements of Hiromu Takahashi throughout his career, managing to get 8 hours of sleep is probably right up there. I'm extremely envious of that.
Right. That's true too. Yeah, in the middle of, I saw that middle of Cork and all. I didn't watch a second. I'm not tuning in for that. But like, how, like
you fake fan.
I know. Like, I don't. Help me understand the why of we're doing this. Why exactly are we doing that again?
The answer to most of these questions is because Hiromu.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice that he has enough stroke with the office to have them.
I want to know, like, was that the sort of thing where they're all sitting around and like, come on, Hiromu, you've got to come up with some content. People love you. We need something for the show. And it's like, oh, why don't you just fucking film me sleeping or something? And they're like,
sold.
Yeah, let's do that. Or was it an idea that popped into Hiromu's head? And he's just like, hey, I've got a great knocking on the door. Hello, hi, Chairman Sugabayashi. Brilliant idea. 8 hours of content. Oh, yeah. What you got in mind? Like a variety show or some sort of on-the-road documentary? No, me sleeping in Korakuen Hall for 8 hours. And Sugabayashi just stares at him for a few seconds and is like, yeah, okay then.
Right. Well, think of it this way, though. The production costs, there's zero production costs. What, a camera? And just allowing Cork and Hall, them being okay with it. I wonder if anybody watched it. Like, did he go to the bathroom? Like, does he get up in the middle of the night? Does he get up and stretch? Is he sleeping the whole time? Now I'm kind of curious. Now I feel like I got to tune into this fucking nonsense because now I have a lot of questions. Like, does he sleep in full pajamas? Is he a pajama guy? Is he sleeping in shorts? Does he need like I always have a little bottle of water just in case I wake up and I have a little dry mouth? Is he that guy? I'm very curious.
Wake up, kick the blanket off with massive boner.
He has to jerk off to fall asleep. Right, but these are things.
Scrolling Twitter, vanity searching.
You know what I mean? Like, now I'm very curious of how this 8 hours, like, is he a side sleeper? Does he sleep on his stomach?
I'm reading a Discord to see what people are saying about it.
Is it on now?
It's okay. It's the classic catch. Says Hiromu thing ended. They just started playing his music, then cut to a PowerPoint. Apparently, he just slept still for 8 hours. Someone else is saying they slept still for 20 minutes on a loop. So they think that.
Oh, you think it's
they're doubting the legitimacy of this, but and now it's gone back to people arguing about Will Ospreay's wrestling. So
back to normal,
back to basics.
Right. Sleeping Hiromu. I mean, again, if our Discord is doubting the idea of a straight 8 hours and it's just like 20 minutes on a loop, then that's bullshit. I feel ripped off. I don't feel ripped off at all. But yeah, but if it is, I do have questions, and we do need. We need. You know how like Voices has all these different voices, writers. They're kind of putting in their 2 cents on all these different shows. There's got to be somebody who's going to review this, right? Somebody who's seen it. We need a reviewer. We need somebody to chime in.
I mean, there's people reviewing some of these god awful shows on fucking WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's people reviewing freedom shows on the Voices of Wrestling Network.
Right, Basara's getting, right. No offense to Basara fans, guys, but
maximum offense to Basara fans. Fuck all of you.
Right, great. Get outside. All right, well, we have. Correct me if I am wrong, Joel, but we have plenty to talk about here. You have work as well. I have to go to bed sometime soon. I had speaking of Hiromu, I had a very restless night of sleep. So I'm ready to record. Send this fucking shit to Dan and cheap.
All right, let's dip into the news. So we have a new show announced, Capital Collision, which comes to Washington, D.C. on May the 14th. And we got some big names announced for this one. Of course, this will be during Best of the Super Juniors. So they're sending some heavyweights over. We've got the likes of Okada, Tanahashi, Suzuki, Ishii announced. They're going to be flying over. John Moxley back in action. United Empire with Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay are going to be there. So
when is this?
Yeah, this would be April the 4th.
April the 4th? April the 4th? Can't possibly be April the 4th. That's like 5 days away.
Expo Center.
What's that?
Oh, no, sorry. May the 14th. the tickets are on sale April the 4th. I read the wrong bit.
I'm like, this show's going to happen in 5 days and they just announced it? I'm like, what the fuck? These people are insane. Okay, good. You know what? How's this sound? I might go to this. Because I have friends in Washington, D.C., the great Gabby that I always talk about. By the
show off you and your friends.
I know.
I've got friends.
I have friends. I know. I can count them on one finger. One finger? One hand. I have one finger with multiple fingers. She lives right outside Washington, D.C., Arlington, which is right there.
Lady friend.
That's right. She just got engaged, as a matter of fact. That's the big news.
Well, congratulations to Washington lady friend. That's great
Washington
news.
Gabby. Baltimore, formerly Baltimore Gabby. That's where I go to every year for Christmas. Anywho, I might go to that show. It sounds pretty sexy. As long as it's not 5 days away, I'll be good. I might go. Sounds good.
The next thing was a little vignette that appeared on the social medias with Will Ospreay.
What now?
Introducing a mysterious new character, a junior for United Empire, with the codename or nickname Bruciare.
Say what?
Which, that's Italian for bruschetta, which is the favourite snack of one wrestler. No, it's not really. It means to burn.
Oh.
And people are doing a bit of detective work and possibly pointing out one Francesco Akira, whose nickname is Fireball, and putting an impressive performance against Gabe Kidd at a recent Rev Pro show.
Right.
Also friends with Will Ospreay. So that, I think, is our most likely candidate for this new junior heavyweight for United Empire. So hopefully we will see him at Best of the Super Juniors, and judging by this, might be getting a little bit of a push. So that's exciting.
Yeah, right out of the gate. Give me the name again. How do you pronounce it?
Francesco Akira.
No.
Bruciare? I don't know. I'm not.
Okay, neither am
I don't speak Italian, but it's just me guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just going to be like a little coda. You know, like when they had Ishimori, he was Bone Soldier.
Yeah.
Taiji Ishimori, but we still call him Taiji Ishimori.
Right. I don't think anybody calls him Bone Soldier. Does anybody call him Bone Soldier anymore?
I don't.
I do not. Right. I do not refer to him as Bone Soldier at all. Okay. Very good. Look at this. Everybody's getting work now. We're signing people, looks like. I mean, again, nothing official, but these are all positive signs, right? These are all little things that are leading the way, and we're getting big shows here in the States. We got WrestleMania weekend. We got shows. We got Liger doing. I was going to fly down. Do you know that? I was actually sitting there on Expedia.com, seeing like if I really wanted to do that, just fly down, see good old Jushin Thunder, fly back. I was thinking about doing it, and then I got a good breath of common sense, and I said, "Fuck that! What are you thinking? What are you doing?" So there you go. All right, sorry to derail. Continue, please.
The Lions Raw finale, very good one, very interesting, and I found it quite heartwarming to see Michael Richards offered a Young Lion contract. So of course you might remember him. He was in the last Young Lion Cup that they had in Japan, and was talking about how he sort of let himself down and let the company down, and Rocky was shooting him out, and now he's working extra hard to get into top shape and hopefully get a second shot. And he will, fingers crossed, be getting that second shot as he's been offered this Young Lions contract. So Curtis from the Okada Shorts podcast says, of the new Young Lions who were selected to receive contracts with New Japan from Lions Raw, who do you think has the most upside? Jake and Michael look great, but AV has something that caught my eye. Sad Richard couldn't stick with the program. He was great too. So yeah, it was really interesting following along. So it's finished now, Lions Raw. So if you haven't seen it, you can go back and check it out and sort of enjoy it as a little self-contained narrative. And yeah, I'm really interested to see the progress. But yeah, I think Michael Richards is going to be the one to watch, because if and when he gets his second bite at the cherry, knowing that he sort of dropped the ball the first time,
Right.
you know that when he gets back to Japan, he's not going to fuck this one up. He's going to make the most of it. So I'm excited to see the difference and the improvements between the last time we saw him and what he's got to show now.
Yeah, I think so too. You don't get many second chances, right? So I mean, it's kind of like the old sports analogy where the guy gets sent down to the minors. Oh, well, okay. Now it's here's chance number 2. So yep, make the most of it. I'm sure he will. It'll be good.
Mark says, can someone make Gabe Kidd a nice cup of tea and have a word? So
I heard some things.
Yeah, he's not having a good time. Look,
No.
Gabe is unwell by his own admission. He's suffering from bipolar disorder. We've spoken about it before. I've mentioned before. This is something that my mother struggles with. So she, at the best of times, finds it difficult when. And again, this is not like a universal experience. I'm sure everyone who has bipolar experiences it differently. But from what I experience, when she was in the middle of a manic episode, she could start an argument in an empty room.
Right.
It's part of something she went through, that she, get all these feelings of, power and, wants to do lots of things and start fights with people. And she was not a professional wrestler, and she was not in the public eye, and she does not have social media.
Right.
And she found it fucking difficult. So you add those 3 things I just mentioned into the mix, and yeah, it's going to be tough for Gabe. So whilst it looks like he's deleted his Twitter, and I hope he sticks with that, because I can see how it must be very addictive for him, especially if you're spoiling for a fight. Logging onto twitter.com is the best way to get in on the action, but it wasn't good, the stuff that he was posting.
No.
And I know, I know for a fact that the company are doing their best to help him. I've spoken to people that said he's got good people around him, and they're going to do their very best to make sure he's all right. But it is a worry, and yeah, social media it's a symptom, not a cause. It's not like, oh, delete Twitter and everything will be fine. He clearly needs sustained support, both medical and psychiatric and social, emotional, and it's not easy. This is not the sort of thing. It's like, hey, take this pill and you'll be all better. This is going to be a lifelong struggle for the guy, and I hope it works out for him in professional wrestling, because you can see that's what he loves, but it's going to be real tough for him.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I don't want to say in that company, but in any company. Pro wrestling's a tough life, even when you feel like you got everything sorted out. I can't imagine having the struggles that he's having and trying to make a living being in the public eye. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't see everything that was posted, but I know he had a bit of an episode online, and it's social media, man, can be a real, like, it's an unforgiving place, right? It's a very unforgiving place, and it's and there's I wish. And I know New Japan has had some social media training. I don't want to say, but at least some guidelines or something to help these people out. Boy, I wish there was something more that can be done just to kind of help people. Like, you can't treat it as you're just somebody on. You're more than that now, and that's tough for people to swallow. And again, when you're struggling, it's not a, again, it comes with this surface where everyone says they're supportive, but boy, you slip, they're gonna point a finger and let you know it. So I hope he's okay, number one. But two, please, delete the Twitter, delete the social media. You don't need it. That's what really what it comes down to. At the end of the day, you really don't need it. So knowing that, hopefully, again, he's doing well and he's off that social media. But I've had conversations with New Japan pro wrestlers begging them, dude, just fucking delete the Twitter. Nope. Delete it for like a week and then whoop, we're right back on. And then it becomes a certain point where you're just like, what do you
It's deleted now. His account is deactivated, but I will not be surprised if that's back up by the end of the week. Because it's terribly addictive, even for people who are not suffering from clinically diagnosed mental health problems.
Right. I mean, I just know me. Like, people just have their fucking phones in their hands, and it's almost like back in the day where people just wanted to have a cigarette because they just wanted to have that or have a beer in their hand, a glass in their hand. Like, I'm that guy, to be quite honest with you. I can't go anywhere unless I have a glass in my fucking hand. And it's just that, and Gabe's younger than I am, so he's like, his whole life has been that. It's hard. It's just one of those things where, could you imagine just getting rid of your phone? I would love it. I would absolutely fucking love it. And Joel knows I don't text. I do not like texting at all. Like, Joel, what do our conversations consist of? When do you want to do the show? How's Wednesday night? Okay, sounds good. Your time? Yeah, great. Okay, perfect. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have long conversations. We have I'm in conversations with other people. Like, I read them all, but I hardly ever text. Hardly ever. I would do anything to not have a phone anymore. I would do anything.
Yeah, when I was on my trip last week, one of the activities we did was camping on the beach.
Ooh.
And there's nowhere to plug and charge your phone in then, so just turn it off. And I had a really nice evening.
Mm-hmm.
Just lying in my tent, reading a book, enjoying the sounds of the sea. And I think I should do that more often. I think we'd all be a lot happier if we logged off permanently, to be honest.
Let's do a podcast.
All right. Oh, there's a little tidbit here. So, we've got this, I think it's the 60th anniversary of Korakuen Hall coming up with a joint show with All Japan. And the main event previously was going to be, I've forgotten what it was now. What was it? Was it Kento Miyahara and Tanahashi against Jake Lee and Sanada?
That was going to be the main event? Wow, okay.
And now Sanada's injured.
Right.
Guess who's taking his place? Our boy Taichi.
Fuck.
Which I think is a really great feather in his cap there, and speaks volumes about how far he's come and his popularity, especially with the Tokyo crowd, the Korakuen crowd, that he was the person that they handpicked to take that spot in the main event.
Nice job, yeah. Ooh, that sounds pretty sexy. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. This is not going to be on New Japan World. I mean, not live, right?
That's correct.
For Christ's sake. Well, all right. It'll be live to us. I'm sure somebody will have it up. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be broadcasted somewhere. Wait, didn't I read it was going to be like what's the name of the network? It's like Skeech or something like that. I don't forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct. Let me have a look here.
Japanese only, like.
Oh no, Spooks.
Spooks.
They're only available in Japan. So if you live elsewhere, you might not be able to watch it. No word yet if it'll end up on AJPW TV or New Japan World. I'm sure it will at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, it usually ends up making its way up there. But if you want to watch it live, it seems like VPN and access to spooks.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of that network in my entire life. I promise you. And I've seen them all. No, I've never seen that one. That sounds like a real cool match, though. 60 years of Corkin, man. Oh, imagine. You know what? Maybe they're giving away free chicken fingers. That'd be great. Delicious. It's so good there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's do New Japan
All right.
Strong. So this was the show from Hollywood called Rivals. So we open up with Daniel Garcia defeating Yuya Uemura in 10 minutes 39 seconds by Scorpion Deathlock. This was really good. I enjoyed this a lot. Particularly Daniel Garcia and his new heel work, because if you've been following AEW, he's joined Chris Jericho's little heel faction of sports entertainers. So now he's sort of working to that, and little sarcastic claps for Yuya, putting the finger to his ear, showing some attitude. I had really hoped we'd see more of Daniel Garcia in New Japan, and I don't think he's going to stop outright, but the fact that he is getting a big push on AEW, I mean, he picked up the pinfall in the main event on Dynamite last week, so I can't see him being plopped into Best of the Super Juniors and going 4 and 5, for example. That's not going to be happening. But either way, two supremely talented blue chip prospects here. I dare say they will meet again in the future. But this more heelish Garcia was a really great forward to Uemura, and I always enjoy how the young lions can be really prickly in defeat and refuse the handshakes. That's what Uemura did. He slapped Daniel Garcia's hand away because he's so annoyed with himself for losing, and rightly so, because you don't want to see anyone accepting defeat meekly. It just shows that they're taking pride in their work and that the results of these matches matter to them. And I think that's what annoyed me last time when we talked about Carl Fredericks getting his hand raised by Christopher Daniels and just being like, oh yeah, I lost, but thank you, thanks dads. And I don't want to see that. I want to see fuck you. I should have won that match, which is what we got from you here, which I enjoyed a lot. Second match, we have Black Tiger defeating Rocky Romero in 11 minutes 2 seconds. So it was a good match, and the feud's going to continue, but I might get cancelled for saying this. I did find Black Tiger's dad bods a little bit distracting. In a company like New Japan, where it's all about the the Bushiroad matinee idol aesthetics and all these chiseled bodies.
That's not chiseled.
Black Tiger was different and unique. Let's put it that way. I'm not putting a value judgment on that. I just did find it a little bit distracting. And our main event was a elimination match, 10-man elimination match with Team Filthy, Tom Lawler, Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, JR Kratos, Danny Limelight, defeating the team of Clark Connors, Fred Rosser, Taylor Rust, Adrian Quest, and the DKC in 60 minutes 29. And JR Kratos picking up the win here. He was the last survivor with a lariat over Adrian Quest. And I always love these matches. I mean, you know how much I love the multi-man strong matches anyway, where everyone gets their shit in and it's always good fun. Add to that the elimination stipulation, which adds you get to set up these nice little mini feuds between various wrestlers, and a lot of them I suspect are going to pair off into singles feuds. And it was good to put some shine on Adrian Quest. We haven't seen a great deal from him recently. And JR Kratos, I was really happy he got the win, because he's usually a guy that's used to help get other people over in these sustained feuds. So it was good to remind us that, this guy's a big fucking scary monster and he can beat the shit out of dudes. And yeah, spiced up some upcoming matches. We've got Clark Connors versus Tom Lawler, so we had a little encounters there to whet your appetite for that. And a small thing here, I just enjoyed the visual of all 5 members of Team Filthy posing in the ring earlier in the match. When you have all the members in the faction in the ring doing a pose, that does something for me, Damon. I don't know what it is, but I just think, oh yeah, this is cool. This is pro wrestling, and I like it.
Yeah, it's an exclamation point, isn't it? What was my point? I just literally had a point in my head. Know what I noticed? Voices of Wrestling, the website, and their reviews. There's a lot more strong than there are actual, like New Japan reviews. There's like every week there's strong stuff. So at least people are catching on. At least people are seeing what we've already been talking about for over a year of how good the show is and how fun it is. And to us, it's and I don't want to speak for you, Joel, but it feels like, if it's not the best, it's one of the best U.S. produced TV shows right now.
Agreed. And we've got some exciting stuff coming up. We've got the card for the Strong Tapings Mutiny in Hollywood, which have been set now. So these are the matches we've got. We've got Ren Narita versus Chris Dickinson, which I think is going to be tremendous.
Mhm.
David Finlay against Blake Christian. We've got a handicap match. Fred Rosser taking on the West Coast Wrecking Crew. We have the US of J Open Challenge match. Jay White taking on Hikuleo, which I assume is going to have implications for the Bullet Club shenanigans going on. We've got a six-man Rocky Coughlin and Adrian Quest against J.R. Kratos, Black Tiger, and Danny Limelight. Kevin Knight, DKC, and Fred Yehai against Bateman, Mysterioso, and Barrett Brown. We have Tomohiro Ishii go 1-1 with Big Damo, which is going to be really interesting. Aaron Solo and Nick Komoroto against Carl Fredericks and Clark Connors. Alex Zane and Christopher Daniels against Chris Bay and El Fantasmo. That should be a lot of fun. Brody King, Taylor Rust, Mascara Dorada versus United Empire. Great O'Khan, Aaron Hanari, and TJP.
Whoa! Repeat that for me, please. Can you repeat that one for me? That one, I think I ejaculated. Give me, please.
Rightly so. I think this deserves a second look. Brody King, Taylor Rust, and Mascara Dorada.
What?
The artist formerly known as Grand Metalik in WWE, against Great O'Khan, Hanare, and TJP.
That's gonna be good. That's a cool match. All right. I'm sorry.
I did not know that I needed to see Brody King against Great O'Khan, but here we are.
Here we are. Absolutely. That again. I'm pumped for that. That's a cool match. All right. And then I'm sorry, I cut you off. What else is there?
It's Keita Murray and Yu Uemura against Kevin Blackwood and Lucas Riley. So, I mean, there's no match order set for that, but I think there's some really interesting stuff. So, if you're in the area, absolutely worth a visit, and looks set to be quite a handful of interesting episodes of Strong based on these tapings.
Yeah.
I'd say Ren against Dickinson. I mean, most of these matches are interesting to me because I'm a Shin Nihon freak. So there you go.
Don't rap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's it. That's all from New Japan Strong. I will move on to the New Japan Cup then, because we have a lot to talk about there. Let us begin on Saturday, March 26th in Osaka-jo Hall. If you don't mind, I will fast forward straight to the semi-finals.
Sure.
First semi-final was Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Shingo Takagi in 19 minutes 24 seconds via referee stoppage after rear naked choke. This is something pointed out by Voices of Wrestling writer Suit Williams. He mentioned how the whole setup of this has been Shingo's hubris in the build-up to the Chase Owens match, where he's like, I'm going to beat Chase in 5 minutes. And then Chase fucked him up and fucked his neck up.
Yeah.
And he's been suffering with that neck injury for the whole tournament. So that hubris and cockiness has cost Shingo ultimately here. So, he managed to power through a few matches, but here his injured neck was the whole story. Like from the first minute of this match, Zack is wrenching Shingo's neck and Shingo, trying to shake it off, stretch it out. And that's one of these things I love about these tournaments, the match-to-match psychology, where something that happens in round one can affect what happens in the semi-finals. And I thought Shingo's selling here was masterful. Can be quite understated. He's not in the ring going, my neck. It's just little things, he's trying to grit his teeth and power through the pain, but you can tell that he's suffering. And I thought Zack basically dominated here. As the match went on, you could see him trying to set up the rear naked choke, but Shingo still had a bit of power. He was powering out of it. And then Shingo's trying to set up Last of the Dragon, but Zack's escaping it by elbowing Shingo's injured neck. So I found that tactical battle really interesting. And then the drama really cranked up near the end when Zack slapped the taste out of Shingo's mouth. And the shocked face that Shingo sold, it was really good. Shingo, he's an underrated funny face puller in this company. So let's throw some respect in his funny faces. And the last few minutes was brilliant here.
Yeah.
Every time Shingo's trying to get Zack on his shoulders for Last of the Dragon, Zack is wriggling around like an octopus and just trying to sneak in that rear naked choke under the chin. And of course, big dumb jock Shingo. He tries the ultimate idiot Chad move, tries to slam his way out of the chokehold. He's watched highlights of UFC 34 on YouTube. He thinks that's a legit strategy, bless him. And just a tremendous finish where Shingo's on his knees, the crowd's clapping, they're expecting the big comeback. Shingo manages to get to 1 foot, and then he just fucking crumples into a big bag of floppy meat, loses consciousness. Ref was brilliant here. I think it was Marty Asami just diving onto Zack to get him off before he can cause serious damage. A little touch that made the whole finish seem really authentic. Just an outstanding match.
Yeah, fantastic. I couldn't agree more. The idea, I think going into it, I I had wanted Zach to win. I was rooting. I was rooting for him. I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, even with the setup with the neck, I was kind of shocked at the idea of him going on and moving on. I don't know why, because we talked about it. We talked about the possibility of it, but I don't know. It just seemed like the furthest thing from a possibility. And you're right. Like Zach, I don't want to say mowed through his tournament, but he mowed through his tournament. You know what I mean? Like he it's we've said it 1,000 times, but I'm always amazed at how logically New Japan is able to just turn up the gas and set somebody ablaze and make them just legit again. And it feels legit. Like him winning doesn't feel like, sorry to spoil, but him even winning that match doesn't seem completely far-fetched. Okay, great. The injured neck helped play a factor in it, but I don't think that took away from the win. I feel like maybe it protected Shingo a little bit, but that was as clean a fucking win as you'll see in New Japan, right? Like that was
when we did our brackets at the start of the tournament, we both said, look, Zach's a dark horse here. He could easily go deep. He could go to the final. He could win it, because that's the beauty of this company, that, as you said, they can just turn up the gas on a particular wrestler, and after a handful of matches, they look like a fucking star. They look like a world beater, and you buy it.
Yeah, I mean, what a COVID era Zach has had, between putting a shine on those tag belts and then sliding into this spot that he's in. And again, we'll talk about more. But what a fucking MVP this guy's been. And of course, his promos are fucking great. Man, he is world class. I'm sorry. There are people that kind of are down on him on his style. Like they just don't dig the style or whatever. I find him to be one of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time. He and for someone to shine in this, I mean, we're coming out of it, and it felt like we were. That's another thing we talk about. It did feel like we were coming out of the doldrums with this show. These shows. He I don't know how he did it, but he found a way to make himself better during COVID. Unbelievable.
I think sometimes we underappreciate and we forget how good he is, and then we see little glimpses of it in the G1 where he's given those big spots, and we're like, oh, Zach's pretty fucking good, because we forget, because he's not always given that spotlight. But I think you're on a hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take. Final four of this New Japan Cup, I think those are the four best wrestlers in the company. Not my favorite wrestlers, but the four best wrestlers: Okada, Naito, Shingo, Zach.
Not putting Tanahashi in that list.
No,
I am. I'm definitely putting him in that fucking list. Somebody's got to bump.
Who's getting booted out of the top four?
I mean, look. You might not like this, but I might go. That's tough. That's a tough. Like it was on the tip of my tongue. I was going to fucking say it. I was going to say Naito, begrudgingly. That's a tough fucking question.
So just for the record, you are saying 2022 Tanahashi's a better wrestler than Naito.
I'm saying overall.
No,
in 2020,
2022, the 2022 version. That's what I'm saying. 2022, March 2022. I think these are the four best wrestlers in the company. And I want to applaud New Japan for putting the four, what I think are four of the best wrestlers. Even if you don't think these are the top four, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
I think these would be most people's
top 5.
10?
Yeah,
top 5.
God. They have to be.
Putting these quality wrestlers through to the semi-finals, and it felt like a big tournament where you're not getting upsets, you're not getting like fucking David Finlay sneaking through into the semi-finals here. No fucking about. This is big boy shit.
Yeah.
And let's move on then to the main event of this show, which was Tetsuya Naito defeating Kazuchika Okada 27 minutes 42 seconds by Polvo de Estrella. And this one was really interesting because I think they really conveyed the feeling that Naito had somehow got into Okada's head with his tranquilo, mind games, all that nonsense, and had just pissed Okada off. Because Okada's facial expressions, his emoting here was really great. Like he's trying to keep that calm, workman-like demeanor that he usually has. Like the sort of face he has when he's beating the shit out of Master Wato just on a standard Thursday at work. But occasionally sort of erupting into these little bursts of rage and that cold, dead-eyed psychopath stare. It's like, this man had just had enough of Naito and his bullshit. And it was best encapsulated in a brilliant moment before and after the shotgun dropkick, where Okada was just glaring at Naito with this expression of pure loathing towards this little shit who's been a constant thorn in his side, be it as the Stardust Genius or El Ingobernable. And I thought the closing stretch was a really interesting twist on the typical main event finisher exchange, because usually it's guys sort of ducking out and reversing each other's finishers, but they were actually teasing and countering not only that, but all of their secondary moves as well. So,
yes.
Right,
yes.
We had the sit-out tombstone and the Valentia, the rolling lariat, then the Rainmaker and the Destino teases, and none of these moves managing to successfully land. And then also the pair of near falls with Naito's jackknife pin and Okada's sit-out cradle that both put away some fairly big names. So they're throwing all these moves at each other, but they know each other so well that none of them are landing. And they got counters for all of them. And the counters are getting countered, and those counters are getting countered. So it ends up with Naito having to catch Okada out with this relatively obscure move. Like Polvo d'Estrella, I don't know the last time he's won a match with that, let alone a big match. For years, it seems, for me. And he's expecting the Destino from that setup, and instead he gets surprised with Polvo d'Estrella, which I thought was a really interesting twist, because Gloria and the Stardust press failed for Naito this time, but it was an even deeper cut that got the job done. It was almost like, Okada didn't revise properly for the exam. He forgot content that was taught back in turn one. So another brilliant match here. I think more notable for the character work and the storytelling than anything necessarily out of the ordinary in the ring, although I thought the in-ring stuff was great. I thought those two things were the most interesting here.
Yeah. And you are right. Like the fact that it was like, I don't want to say like he had to dig pretty deep in the fucking well of his arsenal to put him away. I can't remember the last time that was a clean finish for Naito. And again, a nice little shock, because truth be told, I did not think that was going to be it. Like I was just waiting for the kick out, and when it was 3, it was like, okay, well, all right. Where would you put this in their match history? Like where? Near the top, near the bottom? Overall,
I enjoyed the title match they had earlier this year more than this. I enjoyed the Wrestle Kingdom 14 match more than this, obviously. I think it is up there with the Wrestle Kingdom 12 match. Although the sort of the emotional punch of that Wrestle Kingdom 12 finish, that puts it above this one. I would say firmly middle of the road, but that's not, that's not...
Right, we're talking about good matches here.
This is a very, very high bar to clear.
Right. I'm in full agreement. Right. I don't think it matches either of the Wrestle Kingdom matches. I would put it 4th in that list that you rattled off. Good. And again, all these matches are really fucking great, but right, that's kind of where I'm thinking it fits as well. So there you go. Good. All right.
So that brings us on to the finals, which were Sunday, March 27th, also in Osaka-jo Hall. If it's okay with you, I will not go through the undercard, because I think most of it was just setting up matches for Hyper Battle.
You don't want to talk about Jado and no?
No, I don't. Okay. No. As much as I'm enjoying Jado's babyface turn, and I am genuinely enjoying it, I can't be bothered to talk about it. Right. One thing I thought was notable here from the Yo Ishii Yano versus Kanemaru Suzuki Taichi match is that they are clearly setting up Ishii versus Suzuki for some sort of show in the US. I don't know exactly when or where they're going to do it, but that seems like the clear direction for that. And I will skip straight ahead to the 7th match, which was a very strange lineup. Tiger Mask, Satoshi Kojima, Okada Tanahashi versus Tatsumi Fujinami, El Lindemann, T-Hawk, and Shima. Yeah. So I thought the big takeaway from this was how over T-Hawk was with the Osaka crowd. He had a great exchange with Okada, and even though he lost, I think he did himself a lot of favours there. I thought he looked really great here, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him getting future opportunities with New Japan. And just it was a little thing, but the way he sold the Rainmaker backstage as well. So when Strong Hearts are doing their backstage comments, T-Hawk's just lying there like he's half dead. He can't even speak just because this Rainmaker's so devastating. Like, he's going to be on his back for the next couple of hours. It's so powerful. Again, I'm going to throw more flowers at Sue Williams here. This is something he wrote in his review. He said, Fujinami calls out Okada to start as Chris Charlton wonders what would happen if Fujinami were to beat Okada in this match. If we were in Noah, that would be a genuine concern. But here they just have a neat opening exchange. And then immediately after that, on the broadcast, when Chris Charlton said that, Kevin Kelly said, I have a thought, but I won't say it on air.
Oh.
We hear you, Kevin. We know what you're thinking.
I see.
And Chris also said during this match that Fujinami and Muto lost to Choshu and Hiroshi Hase in Fujinami's last appearance at Osaka Hall in 1994. Muto's still complaining about the loss. And then Chris goes, didn't work for him, brother. I was just pissing myself. So, yeah, a lot to enjoy this match. The T-Hawk, seeing more of the Strong Hearts guys again. I'm hoping we see the likes of El Lindemann in Best of the Super Juniors. It definitely seems like him and Despy could be a really exciting program. And Fujinami, he still looks good.
Yeah.
Still looks good, Damon. He's in tremendous shape, and just watching him in the backstage promos, and he's talking about how he's lost the rights to all of his moves because all the younger guys are taking them. I actually enjoyed this little cameo here.
Yeah, Fujinami wasn't bad. I mean, how old is he? 70? I mean, when I was...
You look at the state of US wrestlers when they hit their 70s.
Yeah.
This is a guy who I think has done tremendously well to keep himself in such good nick.
Yeah. And Joel, when I tell you, like, when I was in grade school, like when I was in like my first wrestling shows, he, was in the mix in like WWF. And we're talking like 1978, 79, right? So, yeah. He did. He looked. I met him one time. He was at like this wrestling convention. I want to say it was in North Jersey. I want to say it was in Rahway. I could be wrong. And they brought him in for some reason. I don't even know why he was in. He had to be in for something else, but he was there. I got my picture taken with him. Yeah, he looked good. And correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Osaka a big Dragon Gate hub? Like, that's a pretty hot Dragon Gate town, right?
Yeah, the whole Kanto region, I think, is Dragon Gate territory.
Yeah, so I'm sure they had some hometown, what am I trying to say? That like the fans there knew who they were, right? They were very familiar.
Right. And of course, Okada and T-Hawk, both Dragon System boys. So
yeah,
run steep.
There you go. Hey, everybody, it's Damon from the Super J Cast. If you look for it, every day has cause for celebration. Celebrate a friend for their promotion or their baby or their wedding or their life thing or whatever. Celebrate yourself for keeping the couch warm. That's no easy feat, especially it's a big couch. Or maybe you just want to celebrate living in 2022 where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered from Drizzly in under 60 minutes without leaving said couch. Right now, Drizzly is giving all new customers $5 off their first order with code FAST5. That's FAST 5. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com and use promo code FAST5 for $5 off your first order. Drizzly is the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep in under 60 minutes. That's pretty amazing. Drizzly is the #1 app for alcohol delivery. You can download that Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. Again, that's DRIZLY.com. And Drizzly is giving every new customer $5 off their first order. So just use the promo code FAST5 at checkout. That's Drizzly, DRIZLY.com.
Gig Me Like a Butcher says Fujinami for G1. And TaylorMade ups the stakes there and says Will Smith for G1.
Oh,
But no, we're not doing Will Smith discourse as much as his Inoki slap has made the headlines. I have no.
Can I get your feelings on that?
It was funny. It was funny, and I laughed at the silly celebrities doing silly things, and then immediately forgot about it.
Yeah, my wife told me about it, and I woke up. I came down the stairs. She goes, "You're not going to believe this, but last night at the Oscars, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock." And I said, like, goofing around? She goes, "No, he walked up on stage and slapped the shit out of him." And I was like, not as a gag, not a. She's like, "No." I'm like, I got to be on. I got to be on Earth too. What's going on here? Like between that and the drummer for the Foo Fighters. I don't know if you're a big Foo Fighter guy, but that was sad. Very sad too. I was like, what?
I'm sorry, my biggest takeaway of the Will Smith thing is that you could see he laughed at the joke, but then a few seconds later he's up on stage.
Oh, he got glared, yeah.
Slapping Chris Rock. So this is, if nothing else, a testament to the power of an angry spouse, an angry wife to cause such extreme behavior. Like he was so afraid of his wife being pissed off that he decided to do that at the Oscars on the same night he was about to get awarded Best Actor for I believe the first time in his career.
Right. But here's the thing, too. On what planet, where is security during all this, Joel? How does a guy walk up, whack somebody in the face, turn around, sit down, cuss him out on live TV, and then, an hour later, win the Best Actor award? How does he not get escorted out?
It's all kayfabe, Damon.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Let's put our pro wrestling hats on here. If you could rebook this, and instead of a slap, Will Smith is delivering a New Japan Pro Wrestling signature wrestling move. Which move is he delivering to Chris Rock?
Oh, Rainmaker, right? Right? Grabs him. He extends his hand. Hey, we're friends. And then wham, whack. Yeah, good night. Wow. What a world seriously, what a world are we living in? All right, sorry. Let's get back on the real fighting.
So, main event was Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Tetsuya Naito, 24 minutes 43 seconds with the Zack driver to win the New Japan Cup 2022. And again, just a little thing here: the match lengths for all these main events in this tournament have been perfect. There's not been a single main event that I think has outstayed its welcome. So I'm so glad that New Japan have gone back to actually giving these matches as much time as they need rather than trying to stretch them out to fill up a certain amount of time on the show. We had Zack out here with his new gold trunks. Even though his gold boots didn't arrive in time, he was very angry about that backstage. I thought Zack's selling was great here. This whole thing is just going to be me waxing lyrical about how great Zack is. And I love Naito, and Naito absolutely played his part here. But his Zack selling, he looks like he's about to vomit because he's still selling the ribs, which started against Shingo. And he's not able to secure the triangle choke because of his injured ribs. And he worked in all the near falls from the previous rounds that the pair of them did. And Zack, what I really love to see here is him mixing up his submission game with power because he has put on a bit of muscle.
A little bit.
He is jacked Sabre Jr. now. So I enjoyed him mixing it up like that. I must say that an Englishman taking a penalty kick in a cup final will always make me nervous, even if the Englishman in question was screaming, "Fucking Naito!" before he did it. But it feels like a new and improved Zack. I thought he was great before, but he really seems to have stepped it up a level, and the way he's able to mix up the submission game and the grappling and the power now and the striking. I think his power really caught Naito off guard here. That felt like the story of the match here as he was chaining together these big power moves, the tornado DDT and then into the Zack driver. And I love that he uses Zack driver as the finisher instead of putting on a wacky submission, because it seems that every couple of years he beats Naito. Does always seem to be Naito who eats the Zack driver in a big match. And that helps to keep the move dangerous and exciting in these big matches. And it's going to be exciting now when he teases it, or even if he lands it when he wrestles Okada. I suspect that's going to be a big factor in the title match coming up at Hyper Battle. Although I will note Zack said backstage he was disappointed not to win with a submission, and he feels that it's a failure if he has to win by pinfall. But even so, I do enjoy seeing him mixing it up and keeping us on our toes. I loved him seeing 3 lines in the presser afterwards. He's more confident with his Japanese now, and he just seems to be putting everything together and starting to look like a legit main eventer rather than a guy that, you know, you throw a bone to every so often. I mean, I think there might be something to it that this cup win is a little reward for his loyalty and sticking with the company and all the great work he's done, as we've mentioned. But this is not, you know, a gold watch thing. I think he deserves it, quite frankly. I think he's one of the top guys in the company.
Yeah. You're right. It does feel like he did. He took a next level on an already great foundation. The only thing I don't like from Zach, like his back bumps are terrible, right? Like,
yeah, the way he sells like Pumping Bomber and the Rainmaker is crap.
Oh,
you know, we got other people flipping themselves inside out, and Zach just sort of does a little jump and then just plop, just a flat back bump.
Like a fucking, just like dead weight. Just, if we could find a way to just do something with that. I love him. I think he's fantastic in the ring. What a great match. Totally love this. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get into some of the talk of what you shared with me the other day. Reading, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, that's Joe Lanza, right, from his Patreon.
Yeah, so this is the Voices of Wrestling Patreon. I do recommend people to check that out and subscribe. I think it's a $10 tier. You get all their big Japan scoops.
It's good.
But yeah, I think we can certainly reference it. We're not going to read the whole thing verbatim, but what was your point?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it makes sense, I guess, in hindsight, but you know, that Kota Ibushi spot pretty much being filled. Yeah.
I mean, they said that the original plan was Ibushi winning the tournament. Thank fuck he got, I don't know. I don't want to say thank God he got injured, but I think I would have been really disappointed with an Ibushi tournament win here.
Yeah. I mean, if you know, Zach is plan B, I mean, that says something to me. I mean, that is a nice feather in his cap, you know, that the company feels confident enough to have him just slide in that spot, roll right in, and then main event because he feels legitimate. And again, it is a matter of them turning up the gas on him a little bit. But they do it so easily and so seamlessly, and it doesn't feel hokey. That's really fantastic stuff. But yeah, I mean, apparently it was according to Joe and his sources, which is pretty amazing. Like he's really coming through with a lot of these things. I can't recommend that Patreon highly enough. It was supposed to be Kota, but you know, look, New Japan did the right thing, holding him out. What was it? Everybody was angry that they were making him go to the New Japan Cup. All right, well, because he was supposed to win the goddamn thing. All right, so there you go. Good stuff there.
So Bash says, this is two Brits back-to-back winning the New Japan Cup. Will last year, Zach this year. Do you think he gets the belt and has a short run with it? Or are we getting a repeat of 2018? Those are my questions. And I'm happy the cup came home. Flynn says, is Zach in the conversation for most outstanding wrestler now? He's definitely been my favourite over the last year or so. Could you convince me there is a chance he will beat Okada so I can enjoy the match more? So we'll do a full preview of Hyper Battle next week. And we'll give our quick thoughts on the card today. But just now, in the immediate aftermath of the New Japan Cup, how are you feeling about Zach's chances?
I would say, well, here's the thing. He could win. I'm not saying this is like an evil, you know, Okada right before Wrestle Kingdom title defense. This certainly isn't. Listen, they've done wackier things, I feel like. To me, if Ibushi was winning the New Japan Cup, I feel like Ibushi was winning the title. Could they just plop Zach in, have him win, and go on and do what they were going to do in place of, and then maybe have Ibushi challenge Zach, and you know he winds up with the title anyway. I'm not saying it's preposterous that Zach wins. Not saying that at all. I might go 50-50. Am I insane? I think there's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for me to have a real solid read on the booking of New Japan these days because there have been things that I've been absolutely certain about. Oh, well, they're not going to do this. I say, oh, they're not going to do Okada Naito again after they just ran it for New Beginning or whatever. So they did it. So
Right.
I think like my inclination is that Okada holds on to this belt for quite a while, for most of the year, if not the whole year until Wrestle Kingdom. But they've done stuff before that has completely shocked me. So it would not stun me. I would be surprised, but I think there is a non-zero possibility of Zack winning this belt, which is exciting. I love the fact that it's a bit more unpredictable these days.
When is the Fukuoka show?
That will be Dontaku time. So what is that, May?
May. That's a big building. They're probably going to go Okada Ibushi for that, right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they could do Okada Naito again.
Right.
Maybe one of those two.
I mean...
Or maybe Zack's the champion.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Zack the champion loses there, loses in the big building.
Naito rematch, Naito wins the belt off Zack.
I mean,
Gets
there's a lot
back.
That's what's making this really good. There's a lot of ways we can go. I don't think anything is concrete. I don't think anything is set in stone. And again, we don't even know what the fuck they got up their sleeves. Like to me, this is an exciting time. Like this is where we can really have some fun and really get back into this product. Like we're chugging along here, and I think this New Japan Cup was one of the cornerstones of us chugging along here. Like this is gonna be a fun summer. G1 is gonna be fucking fun. This dome is going to be fun at Fukuoka. This coming Wrestle Kingdom season, I think we're in for a fucking treat. Look, best of the Super Juniors. That's going to be fun. I think we are ready for an explosion. And I think I do a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast, Joel. I think we're going to see interest in this product jump back tenfold very shortly.
Yeah, agreed. Again, it does feel like we're turning a corner. So prayer circle, please, for the clap crowds ending. Yeah. Rob says, how much do you have to thank George Michael for Zack's win? # use the techers. I'm not sure where he was going with his backstage promos, but they were certainly fun. Jamie says, which was better, ZSJ shouting, it's coming home, ZSJ's George Michael dream, the dangerous techers hug. Oh, that was a delightful moment, wasn't it? Taichi being ringside and giving him a hug, like really heartwarming stuff. And I deliberately wound up all the Golden Lovers fans by comparing them on Twitter. I've got some of them really mad, which are excellent. Keep it coming. That's why I get out of bed every morning. ZSJ throwing confetti at people, or ZSJ screaming, bloody outrageous techers at Kevin Kelly. Cola Blue says, after hearing ZSJ singing 3 lines, were you surprised at how deep his singing voice is? I really expected more of a BG-style falsetto. When was the last single elimination tournament that was as great as New Japan Cup 2022, especially the quarterfinals onwards? My lord, that was great. New Japan Cup 2018, maybe? Okay, so front half of that, I think it was just sort of a celebration of all the little quirks and funny things that we love Zack for, not just his wrestling. The wrestling is great, but I think all those little other things, those little character touches and funny things are what make us really love him. So good stuff there. But yeah, I think this was definitely one of the best single elimination tournaments in memory. I mean, I enjoyed last year's a lot, but this one felt better than that. It was definitely better than 2020. I enjoyed it more than 2019 when Okada ran the table and beat Sanada in the final. So yeah, I think I enjoyed this one maybe a little bit less than 2018, just because that was more of a surprise to me that Zack went through that kind of murderous road. He went through Ibushi and Sanada and Naito and Tanahashi to win that trophy, and that was his big coming out party. So I think I enjoyed that one a bit more because, of course, you had the hot crowds then. But this one, in terms of in-ring quality, was probably better in 2018.
I would tend to agree with that. I think, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I feel like we are, like, when I turned off that show, I felt like, okay, we are really picking up some steam here. Like things are changing for the good, and I don't know. I just like that's why I think this New Japan Cup is one of the, and I said it before, one of the most important in the company's history. Like I feel like this is a real, legitimate, true launching point. And for all the people who stuck with it, suffered through some shitty fucking times. There were some months where this company was a struggle. I don't know. I just feel like somebody woke up. Somebody woke up from the fucking fever dream, and we are moving along pretty well here. So to me, that's why this cup is a little bit more important than maybe other ones.
Louis said the right person won the New Japan Cup final. Naito's better at chasing the title anyway. Can we name anyone else who's better at chasing the New Japan heavyweight title?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see Naito having a run as champion, not during, COVID clapdown shit, because I think it was really unfortunate that his reign coincided with that. But all the same, I do think he's a tremendous chaser and challenger as well.
Yeah. Honestly, I think he's, and probably because he spent most of his career being the chaser. To me, yeah, that might be a very valid point. It might be a very, very, very valid point.
Gary says, is Zach's cup run this year the best of all time? Specifically, his last 3 matches. I'm a bit biased because Zach is by far my fave, but to me, those last 3 against Will, Shingo, and Naito are all match of the year candidates. So yeah, I think in terms of the in-ring quality, this eclipses what he did in 2018, and I love what he did in 2018. But just this, I do agree. I think those were 3 back-to-back match of the year candidates, which is really impressive. Like, that's saying something.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, him that 18 though was like a coming out party for him. The way that he had everybody just fucking tapping. That was pretty fun. I mean, I don't want to shit on that.
Taka Michinoku is his hype man.
Right. I mean, let's not shit on that. That was a really fun one. I don't know, man. Like I said, he's got legitimate claims. I hate to do this as we start April. Like to me, he's the guy. He's the guy right now. Name me a better guy than him this year. And you'd be hard pressed. Like, he's in the conversation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's definitely making a case for himself as wrestler of the year. I still think Okada is above him, and I suspect with the trajectory of main events and championship booking that it will be Okada come the end of the year. But Zach's making a very, very strong case, and he's going to be in the conversation at the end of the year. I mean, there's a lot of recency bias when it comes to the voting, and depending on how the rest of his year goes, if he's in single stuff or tag stuff, people may forget what happened early in the year, but they shouldn't, because this is really tremendous stuff.
It really depends on G1. And let's be truthful, right? We all know that. It depends on how G1 goes for any of those guys that we talked about. That's when we talk about Wrestler of the Year. And again, it's April, so fucking who knows? But after G1 is when that conversation heats up.
So let's look at the card for Hyper Battle. This will be Saturday, April 9th in Sumo Hall. And again, we'll do full match-by-match breakdown next week. But I'll just quickly read through the card and give you general thoughts. So first match, we have Jado, Tangaloa Tamatonga, Hiroshi Tanahashi. What a weird team. Right. Against Gedo, Yujiro, Chase Owens, and Bad Luck Fale. Second match, we've got, this is interesting, Shingo and Naito versus Aaron Hanare and Will Ospreay. That's very tasty for a second match.
Very tasty.
Third match, we got the Junior Heavyweight Tag Championship match with Wato and Taguchi against ELP and Ishimori. Fourth match is the KOPW 2022 Championship match with Yano defending against Taichi. Taichi has proposed a sumo-style, no-ropes ring-out match. He said he doesn't want to do a proper sumo match because that will be disrespectful to sumo, and he's right. Yano's proposed some sort of drinking gimmick. Fifth match is Never Championship match. Evil defending against Hiromu Takahashi. Sixth match is the IWGP Tag Championship match with Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Goto defending against Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. Khan on the Cobb, they're back.
Nice.
Seventh match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Despy defending against Sho, and the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, Kazuchika Okada defending against the New Japan Cup winner, Zack Sabre Jr.
Tell me that's not a fucking sexy card.
It is very sexy.
Woo!
There's no filler here.
None. I mean, maybe the first match. Well, maybe the KOP shit, but that'll be just,
I'm into that first match. Seeing Gorillas of Destiny on the same tag team as Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah.
That, I think, is something. I want to see that. I'm into it.
I'm into it. It's different. That's for fucking sure. That's a great fucking show. top to bottom. Hey, how about Hiromu and Ishii, or Hiromu and Evil? You know what I mean? Like that's to me, that's sexy as hell. Cobb and Khan on the Cobb back again. Tag championship. That's a win right there. We'll talk about that later, but that is a sexy fucking show. Damn.
Yeah, this is a show, the kind of show where you are sitting down to watch it.
Yes.
Start to finish.
Yes.
You're not sort of floating, dropping in to watch the top two matches. This is one where I want to be there. I want to watch it live, get my snacks ready, get my Strong Zero ready, and enjoy a full 8-match proper New Japan big show. Again, it's a little thing that makes you feel we're getting there. We're nearly back.
Yeah. This is a show that it does feel like it feels like a legitimate New Japan Pro Wrestling show. That is a tight fucking show. All right, let's go. Let's fucking do it. Next week we'll do a preview, right? And then away we go. That is it. I'm pumped for that fucking show. That is for sure.
All right, so I'll do some questions until my school or family duties boot me out.
We'll get the running.
Salam says, which relationship is the most wholesome, Golden Lovers or Dangerous Tekkers? Classic Cat said, Joel, should New Japan shoot confetti into the air the next time Dangerous Tekkers hug in the ring a la the Golden Lovers? You know me, Damon. I'm just an agitator now. My Twitter game is just shit posting and deliberately rattling the cages of subsections of fandoms that I dislike. So, this week was no different. It's pro wrestling. I just put a little thing like, Dangerous Tekkers are better than Golden Lovers. And, I'm expecting and hoping for responses like, fuck you, Golden Lovers are the best. This is wrestling. I don't think it's unreasonable to compare one tag team against another tag team and say which one is better, right?
I would 100% agree. Now, again, you are breaking your New Year's resolution. I'm just saying. But
I'm not being nasty to anyone, Damon. It's fun. It's wrestling.
It is fun. I don't understand. Yeah, I know. But still, come on. Tekkers are better than fucking Golden Lovers. I mean, just if we're just comparing like the friendship part of it, like I'll take Tekkers any day of the week. Any day of the fucking week.
It feels more authentic to me. It feels to me like these two guys genuinely like each other and support each other.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sorry,
I was going to say it feels more balanced. It feels like rather than one person sort of hogging the spotlight all the time and doing all the talking and trying to sort of keep everything for themselves, this one feels more mutual.
Yeah. You know what else is mutual? The pay distribution on the on the t-shirts. That's probably more balanced.
I knew it was coming, and I still laughed.
You knew it was coming? You from a mile away, didn't you? You saw that one barreling down the fucking highway.
And it's still funny.
It's still great. Remember that? Oh, it's just laughing so hard. That is one of our greatest moments. Oh, we are great. All right. What else we got from the masses?
Okay, Classic Action. Since the WWE has announced that fans will get to pose with holograms of wrestlers at WrestleMania Access this year, would Bushiroad consider cutting their losses and entering a hologram Jay White into the G1?
Oh. That is fucking
May as well
funny.
at this point.
Why not? I say we bring back all the legends. Bring back a hologram Ricky Choshu. That'd be great. Oh, wow. That's funny. Good work. Yeah, let's fucking do it. They're actually doing holograms? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay a fucking... Who would pay for that? Oh, yeah, I know. Wow. I mean, woo. Just stand in front of your fucking TV. Hey, I'm with George the Animal Steel. What? All right. What else we got?
A couple of questions here, which I suspect are for me. Vase Collector says, what do you think of the March Sumo tournament ending in results? The playoff was very exciting and fun to see Wakataka Kage go all the way. A time of great fluctuation post-Hakaho. And that is my question. Yeah, it's a really exciting time. Especially with the sole Yokozuna Terunofuji not being there, it really feels like there's a bit of a power vacuum. And there was a lot to enjoy in this tournament, like the little underdog story of Wakataka Kage, who, he's not a jobber or anything. He's a quality wrestler, but him being able to step it up and win that really exciting playoff final. Takayasu coming so close again. And I don't want to say bottling it or choking it, because he just, he did really well in this tournament. The Ozeki's managing to avoid going Kataban again. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of moving parts in sumo at the moment. So really good time to be jumping in if anyone's interested. And the second question was, what's your take on Elden Ring so far? What character build are you working on? Tried being a wizard, but it was boring. Now I'm the hero and swinging around big dick swords with two hands, and that is my question. So I am a samurai character holding two samurai swords, two uchigatana, no shield. I'm not a coward. No, I'm joking. You play it any way you like. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't even think I'm halfway. I'm sipping it, if you will. I don't get a lot of time for gaming, maybe like an hour every night if I'm lucky after the kids have been put to bed. And it's just a nice bit of escapism for me. I enjoy, more than anything, just exploring these, fantastical lands and beautiful vistas. Like, the scenery is just absolutely jaw-dropping. Sometimes I'll just go to a new area and just stand there and look around and just admire how amazing it is. And also that feeling of trepidation, being in hostile environments where I like all the sort of weird and wacky monsters. They've really leaned into it this time with some fucked up little guys, as they say on the Bonfire Side Chats podcast, which I strongly recommend. The boss fights are good. I mean, I feel this is maybe the most difficult one. I'm really banging my head against the wall with a lot of these, and I know that there are mechanics to mitigate that, but I just haven't explored them fully yet. So I'm dipping my toes into the spirit summons and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm having a blast with Elden Ring. It is tremendous. So yeah, very good stuff. Let's.
I have no idea what the fuck you were talking about.
No, of course you don't. You should play it. No, actually, should you play it? No, you won't like it.
I won't like it.
Elden Ring.
Okay.
Frank says, with Best of the Super Juniors on the horizon, do you think we'll get some surprises? I'd love to see Dante Martin from AEW, maybe some strong AEW guys like Daniel Garcia or Swerve, even Bandido from ROH. Who would you both like to see? Stuart says, Pro Wrestling Noah recently announced dozens of Gaijin talent coming from countries such as the US, UK, Mexico, and Australia to wrestle at their upcoming sumo hall shows in late April. Do you think this could mean some more Gaijin talents coming to New Japan soon in the near future? Short answer, yes. In terms of Best of the Super Juniors, I don't think we will see AEW guys. I would love to see it, but I don't think in AEW they have that distinction between heavyweights and juniors. And I spoke before, Daniel Garcia, he's in the middle of a big program with being Chris Jericho's stable, them trying to establish him as a star. So I will be stunned if Tony Khan is then like, yeah, you can go off and do Best of the Super Juniors and,
Right.
losses to Yoshinobu Kanemaru or whatever. So I don't think that will be happening. And a guy like Dante Martin, again, I like him. I think he's got a lot of upside and I would see the logic. But a lot of these guys that you AEW fans like and would like to see in Best of the Super Juniors, I don't think they have the name value to move the needle in Japan. I don't think your average casual New Japan fan knows who Dante Martin is, or that I don't think that's necessarily going to sell more tickets. I mean, it's an investment and it will be a risk. So I'm not saying they won't or shouldn't do it, but I'm just trying to present a balanced argument here. Guys, I think I would like to see. I think Clark Connors is a must.
Yeah.
I think Francesco Akira is going to be in it. Other people I would like to see. Chris Bay, I think would be a good addition. I think TJP would be someone. Again, I don't know what his vaccination status is, whether that's precluding him from taking part, but he would be a logical addition. Who else? I really want to see Ryu Lee. I mean, I don't know what is going on with him at the moment, what his affiliations are, and whether that will prevent him from taking part. I know he's got a show booked during Best of the Super Juniors, so I'm not expecting him to be in the tournament, but I would love it if he is, because they put so much into him, letting him have that Liger retirement match. For him to just drop off and not take part at all, I think would be a big disappointment. Anyone else, Damon, that you think will be included or should be included in Best of the Super Juniors?
Well, I don't know if you launch a AEW partnership with Best of the Super Juniors, right? Like if that's probably reason number one that I wouldn't think that we would see that. Two, for the reasons that you said, like they don't really have a line in the sand when it comes to juniors. So, I mean, what? I was going to just joke and be like, oh, Orange Cassidy, but like he's main event heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even, it wouldn't even be true. So, is there anybody else that you missed? Metalik?
Yeah, I would love to see him in it. I think he's someone, there's a bit of recognition with the Japanese fans. They would remember him. So I think he would be a good addition too.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Sean says, do you think with all the issues surrounding Chelsea that Arsenal and West Ham will finish third and fourth, or will they be affected next season by administration action resulting in a battle for fourth between Arsenal, United and West Ham? Come on, you Irons. I don't think Chelsea are going to go into administration. They'll be protected somehow. They're gonna wriggle their way out of this and will survive. And I will be stunned if they are somehow excluded from Champions League competition
Is that
next year. I think
is that
it's
the coach that's the problem? The coach with the
No, it was the owner, Roman Abramovich,
Okay.
who's been
Russian ties.
indicted in this whole. Yes, exactly.
Right.
They've got some business problems there. The UK government has prevented them or restricted their trading. So just things like they're not allowed to sell merchandise, they're not allowed to sell tickets anymore.
Oh.
So they're going to be question marks over their ability to, buy and sell players. Will they be able to take part in competitions next season? But I still think they'll finish top four. I think they will be in Champions League. So I basically think it's a straight shootout for fourth spot between probably Arsenal, Man United, Spurs. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I hope it's Arsenal, and I think we're looking good, but we've got a lot of difficult games coming up, and it's exciting. I mean, I'm glad we've still got something left to play for. So those matches we have against the likes of United and Spurs, I think will decide it. So big matches, and it's good that we've got something to play for. I'm looking forward to those, if being very scared of them as well. We have music question for you here.
Hi.
From Bash. In the 90s, there was amazing music coming out of both sides of the Atlantic, from Britpop to grunge, hip hop. Who does he think put out better content in that era, and what are his favourite albums from the 90s, bar Oasis and Suede, and in US albums from that time period? So, your thoughts on 90s music comparing the UK with the US?
I mean, so I don't discount grunge. That was what it was. But I think Nine Inch Nails is tremendous. To me, that's one of my from an American point of view, that's one of the best things to come out of the 90s. I think Nirvana is pretty great too. But then you get into Alice in Chains and all that stuff. I just couldn't connect with it. Right. So for me, your Oasis, Blurs, Suedes, Elasticas, even the nonsense bands like Menswear, I love, Adorable, even James and stuff like that. So, I mean, I always will prefer that. But coming out of the 90s American style, I mean, I think Nine Inch Nails by far is my favorite, just from a creativity standpoint and from, even though we kind of did rip off a little bit of Skinny Puff, I think The Downward Spiral is a great album. I think from top to bottom, it's one of those things. And even Radiohead coming out of the 90s, those albums were great. I don't know. I was in my 20s, so that's. But even here's what. Well, I guess everybody does that. I don't want to turn this into fucking music Damon all night long because we got things to do. But there's always going to be, as Joe Lanza would say, dollar store versions of bands. And in the States, you have Candlebox and Collective Soul and all these bands that are just they're just grunge carbon copies. And Britpop had it too. But one of my wife's favorite bands, and even my friends, is a band called Live. They had an album called Throwing Copper that they really love. And like I said, it's not for me, but I hear that a lot, even to this day. So there you go. There's music Damon for you.
Let's do one more question from Jason, who says, what do you think was worse, the peak of Inokiism or this evil Dick Togo House of Torture stuff? And Antonio says, Damon said on the pod he was a long-time New Japan fan. What was his perspective on Inokiism compared to this COVID era? What era do you think was worse?
That's a good question. Inokiism, and when even the sun was brought in, and at its worst, it was bad only because you felt like there was no end to it. You didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas this COVID stuff, you knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel once vaccines and, the virus kind of took care of itself. And, people took care of themselves as well. So in a way, Enochiism felt worse because, again, there really didn't feel like you didn't know how this story was going to end. And the company was in peril. The company was in fucking peril. And it was still tough to watch shows because, it wasn't like New Japan World was around, and you had to wait for somebody to record it and upload it and all that nonsense. So it was tough times. I mean, there was some good. It wasn't all bad. You just didn't know where the company was going to go, and I think that was the biggest question mark. Like, how were you going to get out of this stuff aside from them getting kicked out of the company?
Okay, I need to get ready for work, so let's call it a day there. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. My current campaign is to get me a better microphone because Editor Dan says my audio quality is significantly worse than Damon's, and I agree. So if you would like to contribute towards me getting a good quality microphone, send it to redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. Take a screenshot or just tell me, send me a DM, say, Joel, I sent you this amount of money towards the microphone fund, and you can sponsor my new microphone, and I will shout you out on the podcast for buying me a new microphone. I don't ask for much. We don't ask for much from you fans, so come on, help me get a decent setup here, and the audio quality of the podcast will improve. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. Discord link you can get if you send me a DM on Twitter at Cobra Kawaii and progressingtees.com/superjcast for our t-shirts. Massive thanks to Editor Dan. You can find him on Twitter at Lousy0219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. They've got a lot of really good WrestleMania weekend content going up at the moment. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at SuperJcast. Thank you everybody for listening, and goodbye.